Good morning, everybody. This is Mr. McDermott with some community service information for this upcoming school year. You may have noticed recently that a document and form relating to community service have been posted in your cluster's Google Classroom recently. I'm going to explain those today along with some safety information, how we're going to be keeping track of our community service hours this year, and some general opportunities that can get you started. So to start off, in your Google Classroom, you will see this 2020 Community Service Safety Tracking and Opportunities Information page. It's going to be posted there for your reference for whenever you need it. So starting off with safety. So obviously this year is different. So due to the pandemic, safety is of the utmost importance when you're participating in community service. In general, please follow the CDC guidelines shown below whenever you're out in the community. So that means wearing a face covering, staying 6 feet away from people, and frequently washing your hands or using hand sanitizer if you're out where you don't have a sink. Basic common sense that we've all come to understand during the COVID-19 outbreak. So on to tracking. So this year, in order to keep track of community service hours, you're going to fill out your grades community service completion form. This form can be found in your cluster Google Classroom page. You need to fill this out for each different community service activity you complete throughout the year. If you do the same activity on more than one occasion, I want you to submit one response with the total number of hours. But for any individual opportunity, you're filling out the form every time. Importantly, we are relying on honest submissions to record accurate community service hours. We don't normally do things over the internet. We usually have your supervisor sign things in person. We can't do that this year. So we're relying on honesty to make this work. I'm going to show you an example now. This is the 6th grade community service completion form, but it's the same for everyone else. Just a reminder, 6th graders are recommended to complete 10 hours, 7th grade is 15 hours, and 8th grade is 20 hours by the end of the year. So when you get to the form, you're going to select your cluster, you're going to write your full first and last name, you'll go to another section, you're going to explain the activity, just basically write down what you did, you're going to put the date of the activity, you're going to put the number of hours. Now, one thing to note here is that I've put in the amount of hours for 20 and 40-minute sections of community service work, along with 1 hour and then other for any additional hours, because as you'll see as we go into the opportunities page, there are some opportunities that are worth less than 1 hour. You're going to write your supervisor, the name of the person who you did this for. If you weren't really doing something specifically for one person, like Charles River cleanup, which we'll see later, that can be your parent or guardian's name who you put there. You need to put their email or phone number, and then you need to attach a picture of what you did. So for some situations, this is pretty clear. Like you could show a picture of trash that you picked up around the Charles River. If you rake for someone who is maybe an elderly neighbor, you can take a picture of the pile of leaves that you raked. Or if you brought coats in for Coats for Kids, you could show a picture of the bag of coats that you brought. So whatever you need to do to prove that you did something, take a picture of it, you're going to upload it here. Then finally, you're going to check off that you did this statement so that this is a real community service activity, honest, accurate information. So every time you do a new community service activity, you're going to fill this out, submit it so I can keep track. Back to this page here. So if you go down from tracking, you'll see we have some opportunities listed. One of the main differences this year is that because of the pandemic, certain community service activities that did not traditionally or in the past earn you hours are now going to earn you hours. So for example, Coats for Kids, we have a drive where we collect coats every year. My 7th and 8th graders will know this, but we collect coats. This year, for every coat that you bring, you're going to get 20 minutes of community service. So if you bring in 3 coats, you get an hour of community service. The donation box for this is going to be placed outside, right at the Waverly Ave entrance of the middle school, Monday through Friday from 8:30 until 12:30. So if you need to drop off coats, do it during that time. Similar situation with the Trex plastic recycling program that we take part in. 20 minutes for each bag of plastic that you bring in. And there's no limit to the amount of times you can donate, but it's 20 minutes for every time. And that donation box will also be placed at the Waverly Ave entrance outside Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12:30. Just want to show you guys a couple things about Coats for Kids and the plastic recycling, just for your information. We normally have an assembly about Coats for Kids, so I just wanted to make sure you guys know, and this website is attached, what types of coats are accepted. The main thing is we want actual coats. We don't want jackets. We don't want vests. We want real coats. It can be kids, adults, men's, women's, whatever, as long as they're in good wearable condition. Okay, that's the main thing there. For the Trex plastic recycling, this is also attached. Here are the kinds of things that can be recycled. We're really looking for kind of that plastic film. So grocery bags, bread bags, bubble wrap, anything like this that's attached to here. They're still doing the rewards this year for the Trex. So if we collect the most, we get a flower pot. If we collect the most in the country, then we get a new bench outside for outdoor use. So we have that as well. Things along with that, like I kind of mentioned before, we have river and park cleanup. So if you're using gloves in a bag picking up trash along the Charles River or in a park, we have the Watertown Food Pantry. So donating to a food pantry is always a good thing to do. You'll get an hour of community service each time you donate to a food pantry. I linked a website here that will show you the address of the Watertown Food Pantry, along with some other local food pantries you can donate to. And then finally, we have helping the elderly or those in need of assistance with basic things like lawn care, trash, dog walking, raking leaves, shoveling snow once the winter comes. That one has to be with parent or guardian permission and facilitation. So they kind of set it up with someone who they generally know. This isn't something you're just going off and knocking on doors asking people if they want help. This has to be through a parent or guardian. And then last but not least, these are not the only activities you can do. You can, if you have ideas for other community service activities, let me know, email me, and I'll tell you if it's an idea that will get you community service hours, because there are definitely other things out there that you can do. All right, that is all the information I have for everyone at this time. So please get out there, start doing community service, and make sure that you're filling out the form every time you do that.